Hello, everyone, and a very warm welcome back to English with Sarah and James, the podcast designed to help you build confidence and fluency. I'm Sarah, and I'm here with my wonderful co-host, James.
Hi, everyone. It's great to be back. Today, we're tackling a situation that I think everyone has experienced at least once, that feeling of panic when you realize you're lost in a new city.
Exactly. So in this episode, we're focusing on asking for directions. We know this can be intimidating, but our goal is to give you the key phrases, vocabulary, and strategies you need to navigate any new place like a local. We'll cover how to politely interrupt someone, what questions to ask, and how to understand the answers you get.
That's right. By the end of this episode, you'll not only have the language, but also the confidence to find your way. Let's imagine we're standing on a busy street corner in London, map in hand, feeling a little bit confused.
A perfect scenario. It's something I think all our listeners can relate to. So, James, let's say you're the tourist and I'm a local Londoner rushing to get somewhere. How would you get my attention and ask for help?
Okay, here I go. Excuse me, sorry to bother you, but I'm a little lost. Could you tell me where the nearest tube station is? I think starting with a polite apology is always a good idea, especially if someone looks busy.
That's a fantastic start. Politeness is key. Now, as the local, I might give you a very fast and complicated answer. Something like this. Oh, sure, just go straight down this road for about 2 blocks, take a left at the traffic lights, then your first right. It's just past the big red post office, opposite the park. You can't miss it.
Wow, that was a lot of information very quickly. And this is a really common problem for learners. You understand some words like left, right, and park, but the speed and all the extra details can be overwhelming. The phrase you used, "you can't miss it," is a good one. What does that mean exactly?
That's a great question. You can't miss it is a very common idiom. It means that the place is very obvious and easy to find. People say it to be encouraging, but sometimes it can add pressure if you still feel lost.
It certainly can. So if I'm the tourist hearing those directions, I need a strategy to make sure I understand. My advice would be to break it down and confirm. For example, I could say, okay, so straight down for 2 blocks, then left at the traffic lights. Is that correct?
Yes, that is the perfect strategy. Repeating the information back shows you were listening and gives the person a chance to correct you. You could also ask for a key landmark to look for. A landmark is an important, easily seen building or object.
So I could ask, is there a big landmark I should look for? And you mentioned the post office. That's my landmark. It's much easier to remember look for the big red post office than it is to remember walk for 300 meters.
Precisely, and don't be afraid to ask for clarification on a word you don't know. For instance, if I had said, go down the main thoroughfare, you could simply ask, I'm sorry, what does thoroughfare mean? It's much better to ask than to walk in the wrong direction.
Absolutely. Another useful phrase if you're feeling completely confused is, I'm a bit turned around. It's a softer, more natural way of saying, I'm lost. So you could say, I'm sorry, I'm a bit turned around. Is the station this way? It's very effective.
It is. So the key steps are be polite, ask a clear question, listen for landmarks, and repeat the directions back to confirm. If you do those things, you'll find your way. Now, let's move on and review some of this essential vocabulary in more detail.
Great idea. That main dialogue was packed with useful language. So let's break down 3 of the most important expressions we used. Sarah, why don't you start us off with that great phrase I used to say I was lost?
Of course, the first expression is to be turned around. This is an informal, idiomatic way of saying you are lost or confused about your location and which direction to go. It paints a picture of someone who has literally turned around so many times they don't know which way is which anymore.
That's a great visual. It sounds much more natural than just saying, I am lost. Could you give us a few example sentences, Sarah?
Certainly, you could say, I thought I knew this part of the city, but I got completely turned around looking for the restaurant. Or, after leaving the subway, he was a bit turned around and had to ask for directions to the hotel. It's a very common phrase in everyday conversation.
Perfect. The second key piece of vocabulary we should review is the noun landmark. As you mentioned, a landmark is an object or feature of a place that is easily seen and recognized from a distance, especially one that enables someone to establish their location.
Exactly. Think of the Eiffel Tower in Paris or the Statue of Liberty in New York. Those are famous global landmarks. But on a local level, a landmark can be anything that stands out, like a large church, a unique statue, a bridge, or even a brightly colored building like the red post office in our example.
And knowing that word is so useful when asking for directions. You can specifically ask, are there any landmarks near the museum? This prompts the person to give you a simple visual target to look for. In terms of pronunciation, it's quite straightforward. Landmark. The stress is on the first syllable. Landmark.
That's a very clear explanation. And for our third and final phrase, let's look at that encouraging expression, you can't miss it. As we said, this is an idiom that means something is very easy to see or find.
Right. People use it when they believe the destination is extremely obvious. For example, the bus stop is right in front of the supermarket. It's a huge building. You can't miss it. Or, just keep walking straight. The library is the only stone building on the street. You can't miss it.
It's meant to be reassuring. A similar expression would be, it's easy to spot, or it's plain as day. However, a word of warning for our listeners, sometimes when a local says you can't miss it, you still might, so don't feel bad if you do. The key is to have other strategies like we discussed.
That's very true. So to recap our vocabulary review, we had the idiomatic phrase to be turned around, meaning to be lost. We had the noun landmark, which is a key visual point. And we had the expression you can't miss it, meaning something is very easy to find.
That's a great summary. We hope breaking down those phrases has been helpful. Remember, language is a tool, and having the right tools for a situation like asking for directions makes all the difference.
Absolutely. So to wrap up today's episode, the main takeaway is to not be afraid. People are generally happy to help. Prepare a few polite phrases like, excuse me, sorry to bother you, and could you help me, please?
And remember the strategies. Listen for landmarks, not just left and right turns. And most importantly, repeat the directions back to the person to confirm you've understood correctly. This little trick can save you a lot of time and stress.
It's all about practice. You can even practice with a friend or by yourself. Imagine you're in a new city and walk through the conversation in your head. It really helps build confidence for when you need it in the real world.
That's wonderful advice. Well, that's all the time we have for today on English with Sarah and James. Thank you so much for joining us. Keep practicing, stay curious, and we look forward to having you with us again next time. Bye for now.
Goodbye, everyone. Happy travels and happy learning.